All right. Today, a lot of people talk about strategy, want to be strategists, or have an aspiration to be strategists. And over the last several videos, go back and see what I've been doing. I've been showing you the results of using AI to help you do strategic planning, right? So we covered a lot of tools that we should do during our strategic planning process, yet few people actually do. We talked about creating a pestle analysis, which is a political, economical, societal, technology, legal, and environmental analysis, a macro environment of what we expect to happen in the future, right? Critical thing. We did a Porter's 5 forces analysis, right? To understand what our industry is doing. So the macro view is what's taking place in society around us. And then the Porter's 5 forces analysis is specific to the industry that we're working within, right? Another critical component that very few people actually do. We also have completed and did a market analysis, showed you how you can do that in Chat GPT and get those results. Of course, I didn't share all the prompts with you, the detail behind the prompts. My prompts read like a book, that they're very specific. That's why I get those results. We did a comprehensive demographic and psychographics analysis, right? That was a very comprehensive report that we actually looked at to understand what's taking place, who our potential customers are, what are they looking for, what are they buying, what are their interests. And you can see here, let me just open up this side panel. This is going to just tell you some of the things we did. And then we did a scenario planning analysis. Why do we do a scenario planning analysis, right? This is the one tool that I think is critical to do, yet it's expensive. It used to be expensive. It used to be timely to do. And this is where we're taking a future look ahead of what does the world look like in X number of years or months or something like that. So that's that scenario planning. And remember, I forced the model to come up with 4 scenarios, possible future scenarios for us to understand, right? So to get us out of our echo chamber, remove our bias, give us 4 plausible solutions. And then from there, we might have a better understanding of where we want to compete. Now, I've talked about doing a VUCA analysis. I've talked about doing a delta analysis. We're going to wrap this up just with this analysis here, the final analysis here of doing the actual blue ocean strategy, right? A lot of people, this was a really popular buzzword and phrase. Consulting firms were like preaching this, but I know, again, very few people have actually did this and believed it, right? And the whole benefit of doing this is to give you an idea of what's taking place and what that market looks like, right? I can't tell you, I was with one organization, we got the strategy totally wrong. We thought we were going to see mass consolidation in the marketplace. All our indicators indicated that. We put out our measures, we're watching what's taking place in the industry. The federal government comes out and says, guess what? We're going to subsidize this product. If you buy a product that has these features or functionality, we're going to provide you I think it was over $5,000 subsidy that you're going to get to write off to purchase that product. That blew it. We didn't have that. We didn't expect that to be not a regulatory, but a requirement that the government put forth. We thought that the industry would consolidate towards the more reputable, the people had the better reputations, reputable organizations in that industry, and it just totally backfired, right? So good thing we had measures in place so that we can pivot. It was a tough pivot, right? We're not just doing that the internal assessment, most people can do that kind of okay, right? But this external and environmental and scan, if you will, is probably one of the most critical things we need to do. And again, as I said, very few people I find can do this or actually doing this and have experience doing this. So today we're talking about the all-in-one marketing agency platforms, right? And those are like you see it online all the time. It's these e-commerce platforms, ClickFunnels, Lead Pages, Go High Level, Kartra, and so on. There are these platforms that you can create and sell classes and products and things like that. And it's an interesting dynamic because I think it would just happen to be luck that I decided to do this. But you just think about all the people that are losing, that are basically, have been freed up to pursue their real interests, right? And I think you're going to find a bigger interest in these platforms as people lose their jobs, and they're going to try to figure out what am I skilled in? What can I really do that I can sell and that has value in the marketplace? And potentially this might be one of those things. So we're going to continue down that road. And we're going to talk, we're going to do a blue ocean strategy assessment. Again, when we do this, I have some special sauce in here where I'm playing stump the chump with Chat GPT. I'm forcing Chat GPT to consider other things, right? So I have this iterative approach in there, and it gives it some rub, some dynamic to go back and forth. And that's what you don't see in a lot of prompts. And remember, I told you, my prompts are massive compared to most people's prompts out there. So if you have any questions, drop them in the chat window. If you happen to see that chat window, and I'm streaming to 14 locations. I don't know which locations people are really coming in from. And then we'll continue down this. We're going to continue down this road. We're going to continue marching down this path of what it looks like. So first thing I'm going to do is I have a prompt. I can plug it into, I can copy it and paste it into Chat GPT or DeepSeek. I love DeepSeek. The results we're getting from DeepSeek are wild. Perplexity's given us great results. But one of the programs I use, it gives me the ability to sell access to my prompts without giving it away. Happens to use a lot of the Chat GPT programs, and I don't want to use DeepSeek right now because we know that the DeepSeek algorithm has been overrun right now. It's we get a lot of timeouts. The results are great, but unfortunately, a lot of people are banging against that server. So we're going to show you, and because a lot of people love this blue ocean strategy, it was hot, really hot 5 or 6 years ago. And I'm just going to drop in my prompt that I've already written, and I'm going to demonstrate to you the result that you can get. And remember, everything that we're doing here, is in one of the large language models, so it's not a problem. I mean, you can do this yourself. I just happen to codify it and put it in a product and service that I'm actually using, right? So I just want to make sure that you can it's a repeatable process, and I can fix the prompt and make adjustments on the fly, right? I've constantly refining this prompt and making it bigger as the large language models get bigger. I increase the intensity of the prompt. So what we're going to do is I'm going to flip on over here to my strategy GPT. And if you go to strategygpt.opex90.com, you see access to this. Look at these are all the models I have. This ultimate strategy GPT, everything that we've done as a one-off is in this one massive prompt, right? I didn't want to run it and give away the farm. I just wanted this. I wanted you to see what's going on. We'll run it at the end here. I just wanted to show you how we piece this together in a logical manner, right? So if you're hiring a strategy consultant, you probably want to ask them, when you do your analysis, what are you doing and what order do you do it, right? We want to start at the top and continuously feed into that funnel, if you will, inform it. This strategy GPT here starts with a pestle analysis, goes to the Porter's 5 forces analysis, boom, boom, boom. It goes through and it's constantly being informed with the other data that we have. Fantastic, right? So we did this is the pestle analysis. We started out, this just does the single pestle analysis, the Porter's 5 forces analysis. You saw how we did that. The scenario planning wizard, right? The scenario planning wizard, in the future, it's easy to do now. You get fantastic results. You might say, I don't trust ChatGPT. I don't trust this. Well, good. You're going to be behind the 8 ball if you don't trust it and play that game. This is giving you the ability to think outside the box, outside of your echo chamber. I can't tell you how many organizations I've been in to do strategy work, and they're locked away in their own little echo chamber and they refuse to get out of it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to grab this one here. I'm going to click on this blue ocean strategy. And again, if you stick around to the end, I'm going to show you the massive prompt and the output that we get. Similar to what we've done in the past, what I'm going to do is I'll run the prompt, I'll grab the output of the prompt, we'll drop it into a Google Doc, and we'll take a look at it, right? And I'll describe what we have there, right? This isn't a class to teach you how to do blue ocean strategy and how to interpret the results. There's a bit of assumption, but if you're good, if you have your prompts and you understand what it's doing, once it's in the model, you can ask it questions. You can ask it to define what this means, expand on this. You have the ability to talk to your document. Remember, I also said that if you're working in a nuanced or niched market, you can download all your information into a doc or several docs, upload it into whatever model you're using, ChatGPT, NVIDIA, DeepSeek, and use that as your starting point and say, hey, look, I want you to hone in on this document, reach out on the internet as you need to, right? So there's all sorts of cool things, right? Creating chat bots now is easy, right? I have chat bots. They're easy to create. They're low cost, right? If you need a chat bot, we can talk about it, and it can be custom to your domain. It's really cool stuff. So here's what we're going to do in here. Oh, that's not the prompt. In here, I am going to drop in the analysis that we've been doing. So this is the analyze, the all-in-one digital marketing platforms, right? These are those e-commerce platforms. You might think of Shopify, you see that advertised. There's tons of them, right? There's just not a handful of them. And agencies are using these platforms. So we're going to do a blue ocean strategy on this. And I'm going to click go, and it's off to the races, right? This is going to take a little time to run. And so it's going to be off to the races and running here. And then once it generates that output that we're interested in, right, we'll take a look at it. And I'm going to go through and look at it more slowly. We'll review it in more detail to see what it comes up with. You see it? It's cranking away. This bad boy is thinking, right? This is better than anything I could have done individually, or even with my team, my strategy team, sitting down and working with another business. This just opens up the blinders. And the way I have it, where it's playing stump the chump, right? Where it's forcing, and I'm going to say Chat GPT, but it could be DeepSeek. I'm saying, oh, I want you to consider these alternatives. When you consider this alternative, what it means. When I write my prompts, the prompt engineering is a big thing, right? You can't just give it a single line and hope to God you get it right. I have it using divergent thinking, then convergent thinking, divergent thinking, then convergent thinking. I have it ranking and prioritizing. So here we go. Right now, just between what we've already done with the pestle analysis, the Porter's 5 forces analysis, the market analysis, the psychographics analysis, the scenario planning analysis. I remember I've been keeping all that documentation, all the results, I've been putting it into a Google Doc. It's almost 60 pages long, right? With all that content, way too much to read, but guess what? We can drop it into Chat GPT or any of those large language models, and we can say, summarize this, pull out key findings. Do you see contradictions in here? Let's fix it. Oh, I want to change this. I want to have different assumptions. There's all sorts of really cool stuff. So I'm going to copy this data. Give me a second. This data, when it comes back from any of these large language models, comes out in a format that is called Markdown language. What I'm doing is I paste it into another app that I have that's going to take it, convert it into an HTML type document. When you paste that into Google Docs, it automatically transfers it into something that is a readable content. So let's do this. I am going to flip over screens. We're going to share another screen where I'm getting ready to put in. Let's see, it's going to be the untitled document here. The results that just came out of our large language, and you got folks, you can do this, right? As long as you know the steps and the thinking to this process or any process that you have, and you can codify it. It's like giving an employee instructions. You're doing the same thing with Chat GPT. So I'm going to grab this document here, Control A, Control C. I'm going to put it in this document here. I'm hoping you're going to, let's see, bam. Oh, it's got a lot of number there. All right, so look at this. This is 12 pages, right? And it's not that, this is in the consulting world. I used to work for some consulting firms where I think they got paid by the ream, right? Here is what we actually came up with. This is the blue ocean strategy. Now, note, I could not run this independent of the pestle analysis. You might do that, but technically it's incorrect. If I'm going to do a blue ocean strategy, I need to have that pestle analysis to inform that blue ocean strategy. And a lot of people don't do that. So you'll notice that I've already ran the pestle, but I've been running these as independent little modules. At the end here, I'm going to run it in my one big prompt, and we'll see what that looks like. So it's done the pestle analysis. There's nothing new here, right? Remember, I ask it always to rank things. Give me a rank, right? There's no point. I could have just put a prompt in there and it could have just spit out data, but I need convergent and divergent and convergent thinking. I need this to help me rank and prioritize things and put it in order to make it easier for me to communicate these results. So here are economic factors, right? Growth projections, technology investments, interest rates, societal factors, what's taken place, right? This workforce transformation is going to be huge. Just think about all the government employees that are out of work now, right? And that'll be out of work. I'm not sure how much of their skill set is going to actually be transferable to a commercial environment. I'm not sure how good their computer skills are, their AI skills are, their critical thinking skills, right? Technology factors. So all this stuff we already know. So this is stuff we already did. It did a Porter's 5 forces analysis. Redundant, but we need this in order to run this blue ocean strategy. If you're doing a blue ocean strategy and you don't consider these other factors, you're wasting your time. Just guess, right? You just might as well create your own independent goals and objectives and just roll with that. So here's a summary of what we have, right? It's looking at that landscape for these digital marketing platforms. It's trying to understand what's taking place in here. So this is like the bottom line up front, right? The bluff. What is it that we're going to see? So it gives us a nice little summary here of what it thinks is going to take place in this industry. But let's look at the details. Now, there's a thing called the 4 actions framework. I am not here to teach you how to do blue ocean strategy and assess it, right? I'm just showing you that the large language models is capable of producing a fantastic result, right? Probably better than you can do independently or with 5 people, in my humble opinion. So we have the 4 action frameworks. This stands for eliminate, right? Reduce. So we have eliminate, reduce. We have raise, that means increase, do more of, and then create. So this is almost like a scatter, like a scamper diagram you saw in my other models. I had that scamper diagram in there. That's to force ChatGPT to consider alternatives, right? According to ChatGPT and DeepSeek, by using that scamper diagram, I improve my output by 23%. I can find little hidden gems, and that's based on that. So here are some things they want us to eliminate in this product world here. So eliminate, this manual reporting systems, and it gives us an example of it. Eliminate the need for separate data inputs and consolidate it into our CRM system, right? Regardless of what's happened, we should be doing this. Remove manual segmentation, adopt AI-driven dynamic segmentation, right? We did market segmentation. Remember, we did that prompt, and we did customer segmentation. Have the AI do it for us on the fly, right? The AI can do it for us. Remember, one of the key things that we learned already for this industry, if you're not already using AI to create your funnels, to do your emails, and you haven't incorporated automation, you're already behind the 8 ball, right? So that is critical to having one of these platforms running. Reduce. So this here was eliminate. We should try to eliminate these things. Next is what should we try to reduce in this workplace using these products? What should we reduce? Dependency on human-centric monitoring, right? We want AI to measure, monitor, and report out stuff for us, right? Use that as much as possible. Report out and let us know how we're actually doing. And then we can have alerts, right? Think about it. We have sensors on everything. We can check and monitor results. We can have graphs, grabbing that data, reporting out what it is that we actually need to do. And then it gives us an example. So what I tried doing here, which is advantageous, is I code it to say, hey, identify, list, define, describe, and provide examples, right? Not everyone goes through that effort when they write a prompt. So that's why these prompts, you're saying, hey, Dan, I just ran this prompt and it didn't get the same results as you got. Well, yeah, my prompt's over 3,000 words long, right? So here it says reduce the dependency on human-centric thinking. It gives us some examples of things that we should immediately start thinking about reducing or eliminating. Raise, right? These are things that we want to do more of. AI-driven personalization capabilities, right? Personalization of screens and things like that. One of the primary things that we saw coming out of this already is the new generation wants stuff that they can see on their mobile device. AI and mass customization and automation are critical in this industry. If you don't have this, you're going to be way behind the 8 ball, right? It's critical to this actual industry, if you will. I'm not in this industry, if you will. I just find it kind of interesting, right? I know some people in the industry. I don't know a lot of the players, right? So if you're, you might want to share this if you have friends in this industry, right? So it says an example increase on machine learning to personalize your journeys. Machine learning is easy now, folks. Even if your machine learning is as little as using ChatGPT, there are tons of apps out there now that you can get data pulls, dump it in, do machine learning, or highlight factors, or code things, the sentiment analysis. It can also help you identify who your most likely audience is and most likely their intent to purchase, right? So that's important. Enhance automated AI A/B testing. A/B testing should be easy. I have an app right now that automates the creation of TikTok videos. It goes out, it scraped my website, created 20 prompts, grabs the prompt, looks for YouTube video, doesn't overlay, puts a voice overlay, pops it out into TikTok. It runs, it's keeping track of the metrics. Oh, this didn't do so well. They'll grab the next prompt, try it. Oh, this didn't do so well. Let's try a different prompt. There's constant A/B testing taking place there. And it's going to give us advanced customer insights. The ability to understand your customer and their behavior, remember, is key. If you think back to the 2 videos ago where I did that psychographics and demographics analysis, did you see the detail, what your client's probably searching for, what their adjacent interests are, what are the key questions they have about their career and their life? These are all questions that we should consider and work with, and then we can do A/B testing to modify and mass customization, send everybody a custom email based on their perspectives and things like that. So we want to make sure creating AI-based solutions, optimization solutions, it gives us some examples, right? How many times have you gone in and said, hey, let's try this, and you had an example? The reason I put examples in here is when I originally had this prompt, I was like, well, what is this? Because I'm not in this industry. What does this mean, right? So then I started plugging it in. So I just decided, let me have it identify, list, define, and describe, and provide an example. Best, in my words, in my opinion, it's best things. So it gives us an example: create dashboards, 360-degree view, offer tools that predict behavior, self-updating content engines, like my little TikTok video, self-updating. That's a miracle marketing app. And then we have the 6 paths framework. These are, and I'm not going to go into full definition. What does the 6 paths mean, right? I'm assuming you're here and you can probably look this up on your own. It says, look at alternative industries. And it gave us 5 alternative industries that we might want to reach out to, right? And take a look at. So here we have synergy between analytics and campaign management, right? If we can't build it, maybe we can partner, right? You, especially around the AI and automation. Remember, we said you're dead in the water if you don't have AI automation and mass customization. Social media management tools, right? There's a little formatting error, it looks like here. Sometimes it happens, right? It could have been me. Here we have social media management tools, AI-driven content scheduling and digital advertising. Again, that little bot that I have that runs out in the cloud, it also checks for time of day and what works best. CRM and customer engagement software went a CRM system that we can bank on, right? That we can slice and dice and send emails on and capture all that information. BI solutions, right? If you're in one of these platforms and you don't have BI's business intelligence, right? We have to have the ability to make it easy to understand what's taking place with our campaigns and the solutions nowadays. I have a third-party app that pushes all my analytics into it. It can aggregate data from anywhere. It can map up the data, and it does initial analytics, and it's connected to AI. And I have constant questions that it asks. And then it recommends things. Hey, Dan, you might consider looking at this. This is interesting. So this is the kind of tools that we're actually looking at, right? I think with all this digital marketing stuff that's actually taken place, the business intelligence, the AI and analytics are going to be huge. Strategic groups, right? Startup innovators, we might be able to partner with them, see what's going on there. It gives us an example. Established enterprise software vendors. Maybe we have a standalone product that one of these players is missing, and maybe we can use APIs or find some sort of way of integrating that product and service in there. And then we have technology integrators. Maybe there's a way to do that. Data analytics firms. I'm a big data guy. I love data. I love analytics. I love looking at graphs, touching, feeling them, smelling them, right? So the data analytics is a huge part of this, right? If we don't have data analytics, it's like flying. It's like driving at night without lights and without having a good dashboard, if you will. So that's a critical aspect of this whole focus on analytics. Buyer segments is saying, hey, what buyer segments would be interested in our products and services that we should take a look at, right? So these buyer segments, again, these might be slightly different. The AI ran at a different time, pulled in different stuff, but this here is consistent. The small to medium-sized businesses are going to be more engaged, more trusting of these e-commerce solutions, right? We have e-commerce retailers, right? You're going to want agile solutions, integrated rapid solutions so we can get up and running quickly. And then here we have niche startups focused on digital transformation. And then marketing agencies, right? Marketing agencies want to have the ability to white label. They want to be able to ensure that their employees can only touch certain accounts, right? So this is for, those type of industries. Franchise businesses, right? Those franchise businesses might want campaign management systems. If there's a franchise, you can control it for the franchise, regionalize your messaging, right? So there's all sorts of cool stuff. Complementary products and services, right? What are some of the complementary products and services that are associated with this product? CRM integrations. We've already spoken about the importance of CRM systems, AI and automation, and we're talking about having data enrichment in there. With these CR automations, it should also be able to do a sentiment analysis on a customer and give us the likelihood they're going to be able to purchase something. I worked with a large consulting firm, and we had a large online shoe retailer, and they wanted to figure out how to target a specific demographic and customize our solutions. We were able to help them tag that, right? I'm not a digital marketer. I was just a quant behind it. Media analytics. Can we embed media analytics if we're running videos, if we're running ads, if we're doing speaking engagements, if whatever, anything that we're doing, can we integrate all this stuff so that we can analyze it together and understand where we're getting the biggest bang for our buck? E-commerce platforms, right? I could have reformatted this as we were going on, right? E-commerce platforms, right? I could have done this and We could have been much better off, right? To see what this actually looks like. And then time trends. What is going on looking forward? Mind you, we haven't gotten to the blue ocean strategy yet, right? We are just trying to get a level set and understanding of what's taking place. My app does a 5-year look ahead, right? So I'm looking 5 years into the future, right? I don't want to build a product that was viable 5 years ago, right? I'm trying to understand where am I today with hopefully I have the intellectual honesty to say, here's where my product is today. Maybe it's not quite where it needs to be, but here's where it needs to be competitive in this space. So it's saying, looking ahead 5 years, because I hard coded that in there. You can change it in your code. What do we expect to see in this marketplace? Very exciting, right? As we're looking at this industry and moving forward. So it's telling us the differentiators. And then it's also talking about the 3 tiers of non-customers that they spoke about in the Blue Ocean strategy, right? We have customers that are soon to be, right? So we have these customers that are soon to be customers. And what happens is they're deterred by complexity. So these people want a push button solution, if you will. Just let me get up and running. Just think again about all those government employees out there that are probably not technical, and they said, hey, you know what? I might be able to start some sort of training scam or training business or something. They want a solution that's easily that they can put up, right? And then we have traditional, so we have the 3 tiers of customers. Soon to be traditional marketing firms are a customer. Offline businesses that are not yet digitally transformed. You might have a mom and pop store that has the great potential to be online, do digital marketing, do e-commerce, and they're not quite yet there. A buyer utility map describes the buyer and the buyer's journey here, right? So we have a buyer, and it describes what a buyer utility map is. Remember, I have identified, defined, and described, right, as one of the things here. The 6 stages of any buyer's journey for these products or service: the purchase, the delivery, the use, the supplementation, the maintenance, and the disposal of a product or service. That is what our customers are going through. Remember, we just did this in any of the large language models. I can take my entire code set and drop it into any of the other large language models, not code set, it's a prompt, right? It's a very big prompt, and have it run from that prompt. And then here it says the 6 utility levers. What are the things that customers will like, right? Customer, what is it that is that we have to drive? Customer productivity, simplicity, convenience, risk reduction, fun and image, environmental friendliness. Remember here, there's this big issue. It came out, a lot of concern about California and all their data privacy laws and stuff like that, which is going to really potentially damage the ability of the digital market. How do we make sure we're in compliance with that? If you're in Europe, you already know what some of these, the detrimental effect of some of these laws are. Map creation. Now this here, it would create a map for us in the document. It would create like a nice little table for us to look at, but we're not going to take a look at that. Now we need to strategize and act. We need to prioritize what it is we want to do. Now here's where my little special sauce is. I said, you know what? Let's drop in here this scamper type analysis to force ChatGPT or these large language models. Let's break it. Let's make it not just regurgitate and give us the simple stuff. Let's intentionally have it go out and try different combinations of stuff to bring back a better result. Right, so here's substitute manual content creation with AI driven, substitute traditional support team with AI agents and bots. That's easy to do today, right? Replace legacy data analytics with real-time and predictive analytics. Fantastic, right? What are some of the things that can be combined that'll give us a leverage, right? Merge chatbot systems with CRM solutions. We know, so if someone goes into the chatbot, we're capturing that in the CRM. We know what other questions they've had, and maybe that's an opportunity to upsell them on something. Hey, you're asking this question. Oh yeah, by the way, I noticed that you didn't finish this purchase. Are you interested in that purchase? And it can bring them back. Integrate blockchain for data validation and verification, right? So again, the scrutiny about data and tracking our data and what happens there, right? blockchain was really hot. I think the concept of blockchain is fantastic, but the algorithms and the math associated with keeping those ledgers and the encryption really is a strain on computers, on services. It might take a lot of time to open those things up. Combine some social media, adapt. What are the things we want to do? Adapt automation practices from manufacturing to the digital funnels, right? So remember earlier, it's funnels are like all businesses do them. Originally, I thought they were cheesy, right? So if you go on United Airlines and you buy a ticket, you buy that cheap ticket. Oh, do you want to buy a Wi-Fi pass, right? It's a funnel. It's moving you to the thing. Oh, nah. Boom, I don't want to buy a funnel. Oh, do you want to prepay for your drinks, right? So digitizing and automating those funnels with mass customization, you already know what they're likely to buy, right? Oh, I noticed that in the past you bought this. Are you interested in this other product or service? Modify, put to another use. What can we put to another use? Eliminate unnecessary back-end steps. Reverse, right? We have this concept. Maybe something is freaking out of order, or if we change the funnel order or something like that, can it lead to better business? It says reverse conventional customer acquisition methods by letting the AI lead negotiate. So you might start somewhere else. You might decide we're going to start with the purchase of a ticket. If someone comes to United site and they say, hey, I want to purchase, you might say, hey, before they get that ticket, you want to do something else. Who knows, right? We can brainstorm, and we can even ask ChatGPT how to do this. Prioritize machine-to-machine interactions, right? That automation is going to be critical. Now, here are some overall blue strategy recommendations, right? It's saying over the next 5 years, here's what's taken place in the industry. We have to get rid of those legacy systems, eliminate all these manual, outdated processes. We're going to focus on AI adopted stuff. And then, of course, we have risks. I always like to talk about risk. We're talking about strategy. That means there's an opportunity cost associated and a risk. So we want to understand that. Some of the critical success factors. I always want to know, what are those critical success factors? If we were to adopt this, what do I need to measure, monitor, and make sure is occurring as a leading indicator before the market goes south on me? Remember, I told you how we were expecting mass consolidation in the marketplace. That never took place, right? But good thing, we were keeping track of our sales. We knew what was going on. We're trying to get an idea of who we lost deals to. Are we seeing them come to the bigger established players, and so on? So 5 business strategies. This is very similar, not quite. I was going to say it's similar to the scenario planning, but the scenario planning is helping us create anxiety in the marketplace, if you will. It took 2 of the most uncertain things. It gives us 2 axes, and it separates it, right? So it's looking at extremes, right, to see what could possibly place given what they believe to be the most uncertain aspects of that industry. So here, what we're looking for is areas or opportunities that there isn't a lot of competition, right? The blue ocean strategy technically is going to move you into an environment or a strategy that's less competitive, that you might be able to own or get a bigger piece of the pie of, right? So it says AI centric automation ecosystem. It gives us a description of what that looks like, and it's justifying its reason. So that's a possible blue ocean strategy for us. Another strategy is freemium to premium models. Well, this may not be a new one, but it's saying, hey, let's address the small business needs that are cost sensitive, and then maybe we can add on things and get them to a premium model over time, right? When they're not cost sensitive, right? So this is that whole freemium to premium. A strategic alliance with social or e-commerce giants. Maybe we can tie our product or get integrations with Facebook, TikTok, or something to get better understanding of customer demographics or something like that. Niche targeting for digital transformations. And again, once you have this in your bot, you can go ahead and do this, ask it more questions. What's another strategy here? End-to-end campaign intelligence suite. Maybe we don't have the greatest product, but if we know, if we're data rich and analytics rich, right, that might be the leverage that someone's looking for. Maybe they're already halfway decent about getting their products out to the market and they have a platform, but we might be able to differentiate ourselves by being big on analytics. Remember, we came back to lots of similar themes. AI, you have to have AI to build out these funnels. Analytics, analytics is going to be critical. Automation, that AI and automation things. And then, of course, we have the regulatory compliance thing came up so often. It didn't dawn on me until it kept coming up. And then it gives us like a little roadmap of what we would need to do here and go on, right? So how would we use this? Well, we've done this entire analysis, starting from the pestle analysis to the Porter's five forces, to the market research, to the demographics, to the scenario planning, which gave us different options. So we're going to look at that. Now we have this blue ocean strategy. Now we need to take this all together and use some gray matter, some thinking, right? And say, where do our strengths play to this, right? If there might be something here that it's saying that's hot, but if it's not your strength, how do we develop that strength? Are we going to actually try to develop it, or are we going to steer in a different direction? So we can go back and use gray matter, right? I call it organic override. Think about what it is that we have here. I would take all this information here that we just gathered, Control A, Control C. I would put it into that other massive document that we've been running, right? That document is over 54 pages right now of all the analysis that we did, right? So without even looking at anything, we can go ahead and cut and paste it right into that document. And then we can have our large language model go ahead and make sense of it, identify any of, say, is there anything here that's contradictory that we need to iron out? And then if we upload it and we agree on the document, we can use that as a starting point for our team meeting to say, here's all this information that we've never had before about the industry, right? We've been pretty lucky. We took some shots here and there, but now we've done this formal assessment. How are we going to compete, create a strategy, compete, fund it, right? Most strategies don't get funded, right? Fund that strategy and move forward, right? That's a different course, right? Everybody has their own framework. I have the ESOP framework. Assess, right? Means do your market assessment, your internal assessment, external, internal assessments, right? So that's how we actually begin. And then we're going to develop a strategy, or, and then we're going to, well, I can talk about the ESOP strategy later on, what that actually means. So this is where we are right now. We're looking at this document. This document is 66 pages long. Now, we could have done the delta model analysis. We could have done a vector analysis. We could have done the Porter's analysis, the Porter's generic strategies. That's a good one. So let's do this. I'm going to check this live stream here to see what other questions we have. Questions. Let's see. Yep. So you can build this if you can document your procedure step by step. So the question is, this is great, Dan, you have this in your bot, but how would we do it? You can document your existing process and put it into any of the large language models. I've been saying ChatGPT, and then see what happens, right? So you can develop your own models. Now, is it going to be as massive as mine? Probably not. As I refine it and I've learned and things, you have to remember, I've been using ChatGPT since it was in the beta mode, or these other large language models where we had actually trained the data. So I have a good idea of how these prompts actually work. So you can do that. You can break it out into individual components, but you can do this, right? Or you can buy apps and other apps and see what happens, right? My little strategy GPT was just convenient. I've been doing a lot of this work. I'm doing more of it, and off I go. So what else do I see? So how else would you use this for strategy? Well, okay, so I don't think everything that we've covered right now isn't just for strategy. Imagine you're a consulting firm. Just think about this. You're a consulting firm. You're going to go bid on some work. You know there's other consulting firms bidding on the work. You're a small player. You probably want to do this kind of analysis, right? You'll get all their internal information stuff, but you may not know this industry as well as you want to know it, and you want to come off better. You can run this app. Let's do this. I'm going to run into my little model again. Welcome, meet my little friend, right? And what we're going to do is I'm going to run the bigger model, right? The bigger model, since it contains so much data, we're going to run that bigger model, and we're going to see what it generates for us. It's not going to be as verbose as we have, right? Because we chunked this out. And what happened is when I chunked out the pestle analysis, I added a bunch of stuff in it. There's only certain amount of information we can ask the prompt to do, right? So I'm going to go ahead and run this strategy GPT, right? I'm going to run, this is the ultimate strategy GPT. I'm just going to, that's not what let me get rid of that. I'm going to just paste in here the same prompt we've been using, analyze this industry, and I'm going to let it run. So what I was saying, I just wanted to get this up and running because I know it's Valentine's Day and you guys got to go out and get flowers and do whatever it is that you're going to do, hopefully. So if you're a consulting firm, you might want to run or create your own version of this app. I've already started creating special reports for people. They're like, hey, I'm in this industry. Can you create a special report? Or for a particular business, they'll give me all their information. I'll create like a little chat bot out of it. And then from that chat bot, I can run my prompts again. So just think about the advantage you're going to get going in and talking to a customer once you have this kind of information. So look at the strategy bot here. This one here again is not going to have the specificity of what we just created, but it has everything in one prompt. So it's constantly learning. Remember, there is a sequence to doing this strategy work, and having it in that right order is critically important. If you have any questions, just drop them in the chat window. So I answered the question about you can write your own prompts and put it into, and I find all the large language models work fairly well, right? And you're going to refine it and do some organic override. Mine might be overkill for most of you, but then anything you generate, remember, you can put back into ChatGPT, have it summarize and talk to that document. Who would use it? Not only for strategy, right? Most people, they say they're strategists, but we'll be honest, right, folks? They're not really doing this external assessment analysis, so you might use that. Or if you're a consulting firm and you want to go talk to a client or bid on a client, you might run one of these reports, have it summarize it into an executive summary, and then you might be, you'll have a better understanding of the macro environment that this client's running in. So here, I'm going to grab this report. It generated all the data. I'm going to, I'm going to create a new window here. Let me do this. I'm going to open up a new, let me do this here, folks. I want to make sure I save this document here. What analysis did we just do? Blue Ocean. This was Blue Ocean. Let me save this file and close it out and let you check it out. So this one prompt that I just created, this might be all you need, right? So this one massive prompt that I just ran. So let me get that. I'm going to convert it so you can see what it looks like. Feel free to ask questions. Control A for whoever I can't tell where you guys are actually coming from. Give me a second to copy and paste. There's a lot of data here. Beautiful. All right, so this prompt generated 20 pages. It's more concise. But let's take a look at what it generated for us. It followed that same logical sequence. Yes, I know. I'm going to share that other screen. Let me share that screen with you folks. I get you. Give me a second. I might do another, depending on the feedback I get, I might do another recap of this and show you the final output and how we can put it into ChatGPT and get a report out of it, and how we can actually use that report going forward, right? And again, you might just say, hey, Dan, hey, can you help me out? So this is the ultimate strategy GPT prompt that you see in front of you, right? Give me a thumbs up. You can see that. Yep, perfect. Thanks for sticking around. So it did the pestle analysis. Look, it came up with the same things, right? So, oh, now we have the shifting and taxation, right? I live in the state of Vermont, right? It's not a very friendly business environment, right? They want to tax cloud services. They're taxing. They're killing the small businesses, right? And they want to have the strict data privacy rules as well. And they want to have rules, all sorts of laws around AI. They're basically going to cripple businesses, right? Here's the economic, and it gives us if it's a positive or negative, societal factors influencing this marketplace. I have it actually connected to the web, and it will update too. If it's looking for recent updates, technology, what's taking place, and it's very specific to this industry, the legal environment, what's taking place in this legal environment. Our themes are similar, right? There's this environmental, this push for green hosting. And then here I have it give us a 300-word analysis or write-up of what we see in that pestle environment. Very, very friendly, right? What do you think, right? This is great. Think about it. You go into a client. We just quickly created a 20-page report to give us insight about a client that we're going to go visit, right? So just think about it like that, right? So we're getting the macro view. What is taking place around the world? Now, this Porter's 5 Forces analysis, again, a lot of people talk about strategy. This here is talking about the industry competitiveness, right? So we have how steep is the competition, right? Very intense competition in this environment, right? And this is that all-in-one digital marketing platform. So if you're going out and you're thinking about, hey, I need a platform, I want to start an e-commerce business, or I want to get into digital marketing, this might be to your advantage. So since it's so competitive, right? Marketing spending wars on aggressive user acquisition. This might benefit you as a consumer. The buyer power. Customers demand high ROI. Integration, we get it. Low switching costs. We can easily change platforms, right? I do Lean Six Sigma training and coaching. Minitab has become outrageously expensive. I flipped over to DataTab, which is a fantastic SaaS product that is, for the value and the money, is unstoppable. It was easy switching costs. Goodbye, Minitab. Buyer sophistication, the buyers, the buyers have lots of power. So we already know we're doing this industry assessment. Supplier power, right? That means what are the inputs or the resources that you need to be in this all-in-one digital marketing platform, right? So the cloud infrastructure providers, good news there, right? There's, again, a lot of players out there, so you're not going to be raked over the buyer by having just one supplier. Threats of new entries, low barriers, right? That means how easy it is to get in the market, threat of substitute products. And here we have the VUCA analysis, right? So this is all in one report, folks, right? I broke this out just for demonstration purposes about how you can write a prompt to give you that output, but I'm demonstrating how I have it in this one prompt. Where am I? I lost myself here. So I like to do this VUCA analysis. I think it's important to understand. It stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity in this market. Remember, we're doing a 5-year look ahead, right? So is there a lot of volatility? I would argue that you have short product cycles and that AI and automation, if it continues at the pace, that might create a lot of volatility. Uncertainty around regulations, around the economy, around tax policies, right? Complexity, you might have multiple integrations and payment systems, right? So let's say we decide we're going to go and connect everything with APIs or something like that. That adds complexity. Ambiguity, what's ambiguous about this market. So that, and again, we have a little write-up. Here I have it do a standalone scamper analysis, whereas in the other analysis, I had it embedded to force it to think differently. What are some of the things that are taking place? and a small little write-up, right? I have always market research, right? So I'm doing this step by step by step. I wanted to do it in some sort of fashion where I think it's independent and it's not going to influence things behind it. So what are the market trends, right? Surge in demand for these integrated products, right? And I think it's going to get even bigger with all these people in the government losing their jobs, right? I think there's going to be this movement to try, they're going to try winging it, right? And become sell stuff online. AI driven personalization, the compliance laws. What are some of the target markets? It came up with the same target markets, right? It might be a little different here and there, but that's okay because it has some randomness built into it. Customer segments, what do the customer segments look like? And then here we have the psychographics. So just think, I did this again in one report. So this one report here, think about if you're going to bid on work on a client, this one report that we're looking at right here might give you that leg up, right? You have that macro view that you may not have considered in the past or might have been difficult to get. Now you have the industry view. Now you have what's some of the volatility in that marketplace, market trends, customer segmentation, right? And then I do a SWOT analysis, which we didn't run independently, right? What are the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? Strengths and weaknesses. In the SWOT analysis, the strengths and weaknesses are internal to the industry, to you, the business. Opportunities and threats are external. So a SWOT analysis, most people don't realize it, internal, external assessment. And then the Porter's generic strategies. Remember, I told you we could have done that. Look where I'm doing it here. Notice it is before the scenario planning. It is before the blue ocean strategy, which is all embedded here. So we have cost leadership, differentiation, and a focus strategy. And then I have a scenario planning with the 5-year look ahead. Very similar to what we saw, right? Technology dominance. Remember that was the AI, was more specific. Regulatory clampdown, all rules and regulations. Again, that California privacy thing keeps rearing its ugly head. Market saturation and niche innovation. Those are two possible extremes. And then you might have this collaborative environment. It does a GE McKinsey analysis for us, and you get it, right? And then here it does a delta model. A delta model here is helping us. It was a different way of looking at your business. You might compete on low cost. You might compete on innovation, and you might compete on system lock-in where people are locked into your product. So it gives you that. Again, here now we have our blue ocean strategy, which we just looked at, very similar. This was summarized. Here are some really bold actions to take. So it created slightly different because it's not as detailed and it doesn't have all the information that we just saw of some possible strategies for you to dominate in a marketplace. And again, it gives us a write-up. Then, of course, what does this industry attractiveness look like, right? The market size and the growth, key segments in the market, strategies to enhance the attractiveness of the market, a lean canvas. If we were to look at some of the problems, how can we address those problems and put a document together to start immediately addressing some of these issues, right? I'm not here to teach a lean canvas. Summary and recommended next steps, right? So here is summary of some of the findings that we've had already. The next steps, a strategy assessment analysis. I said, just give me an idea of what do we have here? Help me think about the product or service. A little executive summary. This at the end of the day might be all that you need to make that last deal, if you will. And the market overview. And then I always like to say some open-ended questions. So if I'm in this industry, I ask the model to tell me, give me 5 questions to answer, to sprain my brain, if you will, to help me understand that I need to address to be competitive. And look what the first one is. AI driven, and then compliance. Is that a surprise to any of us who've been following along? Nope. Partnerships and cybersecurity. Back to that regulation and protection. Differentiated pricing models. What strategic initiatives could help preemptively address potential regulatory issues? And how can our innovation roadmap leverage customer feedback? I have this fantastic SaaS program I use to do customer surveys. It does the most incredible customer surveys and analytics. It helps us do. It'll do a pairwise comparison. It will do. You have to put things in order, right? By far, my favorite way of looking at data is doing that pairwise comparison, ranking things against one another. I also have this bot, and you should probably consider this as well, is what are the adjacent or horizontal opportunities that exist? I'm playing in this little niche right now. Maybe I need to figure out, somewhere in that value chain, where do I belong? Or are other niches, right? So it comes up with, it says some vertical businesses that might be interesting in adjacent business opportunities. And then, of course, I have it, since we're analyzing this market, I have it say, all right, based on all the web search and analytics that you have, and this may or may not be something you're interested in actually doing, what are the platforms that are best? And what I had it do is it read everything above us. It's doing a 5-year look ahead. It goes out to the web, gets slices and dices and brings back that information. And then it's ranking and describing the platforms out there. I could make this better. I could have forced it. Once I get this data, if I wanted to refine this data, I could do an independent search, for instance, on this ClickFunnels product and get all the reviews, right? I can go to YouTube, see what people are doing, and get a better sense of it, right? I could build my own database. If I'm honed in and this is going to be my niche strategy, if I'm going to be a consultant and this is going to be my niche, I can get more detailed data to really understand which the better platforms are. Kartra, go high level, blah, blah, blah. So it's given us a recommendation, and I can force it to go out and say, hey, you know what? I don't believe this. Consider X, Y, and Z about this product and service, and it will redo everything. So what I've just done is I said, how can we use Chat GPT and AI to help us be better strategists, right? And most people, when they say they're strategic, they're really talking about tactical. They get goals and objectives and they go out and knock it out and they call that a strategy. Strategy really is about how do we compete in that marketplace? And that means doing an external assessment of that marketplace so that we understand it. And what I did is I actually started with industries and strategy work that I've already done. So I'm sandbagging, if you will. I said, all right, here's what we did a few years ago for this company. Here were our findings. Let me put this into Chat GPT and see what kind of results I get. I was astonished, to be honest with you. I was floored by how much better, I would say, and easier it was to use this app. And then having the ability to talk to the data, ask it questions, go back and change some of the assumptions and further refine it, going out and getting specific market research data, loading it into the model and using it. So my goal is, I think people need to figure out how to embrace these large language models such as ChatGPT, DeepSync, Llama, Gemini. Gemini is doing fantastic, by the way. And I think the bigger problem is understanding how to write a good prompt. What does it mean? How do I structure it? What do I tell it, right? So I think a lot of people will just put in a sentence for a prompt. Give me this. It might do okay. But if you talk and you write a prompt like you're training an employee, you're saying, here are the steps. Here's what I want. Here's the output. I always start, here's my goal. And then here are the steps I need you to take to get there. And then guess what? You can also say, I want you to be more divergent. I want you to converge, rank and prioritize. Be divergent, narrow it down. Be divergent. And that's my little secret sauce. I just gave you my little secret sauce because I'm straining it. I'm forcing it to think outside the box. So again, it's going to come down to critical thinking. How do I think about this and solve this problem to get the results and data that I need. So when people say Chat GPT doesn't work, it's not there. I guarantee you, I can look at the prompts and say, well, this is like your wife calling up and saying, get groceries or get something. We need something to eat, right? Are we talking Chinese food? Are we talking about cooking? Are we talking about pizza? You have to understand what it is that you're looking for, or have a general idea of what you're looking for and how to get there. So that's, if you're going to build your own prompts and you're going to get into this, and I'm going to start a class for Six Sigma people, right? In the Six Sigma world, there's a lot of ways we can use prompts, understand what prompts are, get the data, analyze the data. And I think people would be shocked. But again, it comes back to knowing how to write a prompt, how to set the boundaries, and understand what's going on there. So I may or may not do another session. I was going to grab, it's already an hour into this. I was going to take that entire document that we just generated, drop it back into Chat GPT and say, hey, are there any contradictions in here? I say, yes, these are contradictions, right? All right, great. Here's how we're going to resolve those. Hey, here are the strengths of my business and here are my weaknesses. What do you think I should do? Give me a list. And it's going to give you a list, right? Everything that we have right now is just an assessment. Our next step would be to understand our competencies, our skills, our strengths, upload it, and then have it start helping us match up where we might be able to leverage our strengths to be competitive in the marketplace. So I'm going to let you go on that one, folks. I don't see any questions. Hey, like, share, subscribe, wherever the hell you are. If you're on LinkedIn, give me a LinkedIn thing. I'll do more of these. I have 1,000 other bots and things that we can actually use. So again, I may release this as a special report, right? Since I've already done it, there might be one of these business industries that would like to buy this, don't want to do it themselves, they don't want to program it, or hey, maybe you have a particular industry or need. Hey, let's talk. Contact me. Maybe we can talk and I can run a similar report for you. I can refine it based on your data needs, or if you're looking at a customer. So who knows, right? Like we said, maybe you want to partner, collaborate, and rather than build yourself, there's all these opportunities out there. So I'm Dan Feliciano from OpEx 90, do Lean Six Sigma training. I'm going to be putting out a course on how to use AI in the Lean Six Sigma world and how to create your own bots, right? The bots that are custom to your organization, very low cost. And then I'm also going to be talking about AI automation, these little agents that I told you I have running. I have these little agents that are out there creating videos on their own, posting the videos. When someone writes a comment, the agent will respond to that comment. It's doing A/B testing, all sorts of really cool stuff out there. So have a great weekend. Don't forget about your loved ones. And if you're not in a relationship, buy a dog, get a dog. I love dogs. So peace out, folks. Ciao.